Tell me about, your father. I've been to Rio de Janeiro, and I got to get the feeling of Copacabana and Ipanema, and I got to train at Gracie Barra, and I got to train with the Brazilian top team later, and it was amazing. But I always remember that image of your father from the movie Choke, where Hickson's training with him, and he's very old, but he's still on the mats, and he's talking, and he has this confidence about him, even though I know he wasn't a big physical man. What are your memories of him, and how important was his personality in forming Gracie Jiu-Jitsu?
It was a lot of people in the beginning thought that the Gracies are arrogant. They're trying to put down the other styles of martial art. But no, they're in a quest to find out which style is the best, because everybody claimed that their style is the best. So my father, my uncles, once they learned the art of Jiu-Jitsu, they got into this quest of boxing says the best. Okay, there's only one way to find out. Let's take the rules, the time limit, the weight division, get in a ring, a cage, and duke it out. Let's see which style is the best. So a lot of people in the beginning was thinking, like I said, they were arrogant, but no, we're just in a quest. And then became my cousins, my brothers, myself, who was in a quest to find out, because everybody, when we got to America, used to say, oh, Kung Fu is the best style and every style is the best. So my father had taught us that mentality. We got raised with that kind of mentality of which style is the best. Let's find out. Don't just believe that my style is the best, my father used to say. He used to say, hey, you got to go prove, because there's always a new style, a new person, a new champion. So you got to go do it.
And the fact that your father was a small guy, it affected the creation of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, right? It meant that, a small person could beat a bigger opponent if they used the right strategy, the right leverage, the right intelligence.
He learned pretty much by watching. He was very small. My uncles learned from the Japanese gentleman that was doing business in Brazil and traveling through, and taught my uncles. My uncles continued their learning. And then my father was very small, couldn't do it. So he sat down and watched. On his mind, he didn't invent a new art. He just added leverage into the moves. So he made it easier, changed a couple little things to make it easier for himself so he could do it.
And does it ever boggle your mind that simple thought process that your father had many years ago, almost 100 years ago now, changed the whole planet? If it wasn't for that, then there wouldn't have been Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. There wouldn't have been a UFC, because Horium wouldn't have done it. And then it wouldn't have shown the whole world this new martial arts system. That's crazy to imagine that, right?
He was way ahead of his time. He was way ahead. Challenging guys almost double his weight. Don't care, no gloves at the time, no time limit. It's unheard of.
He did a fight 3 hours and 40 some minutes, right?
Correct. While he was sick at the hospital, he accepted the challenge. The doctors didn't want him to fight and still fight that long.
What was he like as a man? What do you remember?
He was hands-on. Move out of my way, let me do it. Whatever, you're doing something, he will step in, he'll watch you for a second, and he'll figure out the easier way to do it. And he'll be like hands-on, let me do it. Move out, I'll show you how to do it faster, easier. That's why when he was watching my fights, or when he was watching me training for my fights, I always brought him in to watch the entire training. I can see that on his mind, he's trying to figure out a way to make it easier. Because when I fought, there was no time limit, no weight division. So, the time limit came in after, but there was most of my fights with no weight division. So he was always thinking, if the opponent is bigger, stronger, how can you how can you make it easy? How can he could make it easier?
And what was he like as a parent? Was he big on discipline? Did he want you to fight?
As a parent, my mother was a tough one. My father was pretty much, don't disappoint me. He never laid a hand on us. He was against hitting kids. So he never, the discipline never came over as a slap, a whip, nothing. There was nothing like that. No beating on us, ever. Never touch us. But just the look that he would have given to us, it would have been like, you let me down, son. That was enough for us to break us, to go, my God, I disappoint him. You see, I don't want to let him down. So.
And was it always important for you to keep the Gracie name, to keep the family respected by all the actions? I mean, you guys were really close, right? And it was important because you were always being judged by your actions that meant what the Gracies were about.
That's what he taught us. He always tried to keep us on the right path, never drink, never smoke, party. He was against really going out to parties. It was very disciplined life, but he lived as an example. So he wouldn't do stuff like this, eat the Gracie diet. He would always keep us on track with the Gracie diet, would sleep early, exercise, but he would do it himself. That's the thing. It's not just he would tell us to do and he would do something else. No, he would do it. He would follow that kind of life.
Right. And you had he would train jiu-jitsu in Copacabana, and then you had your ranch kind of out in the countryside, and you kind of had these two lives, right?
Every weekend, I mean, I'm growing up, 14 years old about, every student that come in, no, I was a little earlier than that, about 12 years old, every student that come in, he would supply the kimono, the gi to the student. So the student used the kimono. So you did not have to bring a kimono to the school. So every time you show up, there's a gi, there's a towel, all the bathroom stuff for you, personal. You use it, you put it in a basket, and then on the weekend, on Friday, he would take us, the kids, and the car load packed with kimonos, with dirty gis and towels, and spend the whole weekend in the farm washing those. Put a load to wash. Once that load is done, put a new load in, hang all the towels, all the gis on the sun. Brazil doesn't need dryers. Sun would dry the thing. So when it keep rotating, as soon as one is dry, he will start folding those while the next load is already washing, the next load is already drying. So it's a systematic thing that on the weekend, Sunday, he would have a drive back in town to Rio with the car load packed with fold gis and towels, ready for the week.